That was first swing of the day, so a little bit stiff, but that one there, that club head speed was 118 miles an hour. And that to me felt pretty effortless. And that's what we're going to cover in this video. I'm going to get you to swing the driver so it's going to feel effortless. It's going to feel easy. And I'm really excited to share this with you because I know that the information in this video can help you perform better with that driver. So that 118 miles an hour, that's pretty typical for me, around about the 120 range. How is that speed made up in my golf swing? And that's how we're going to lay out this video in 3 stages. Well, number one, the club swings around my body. That generates most of that speed, so maybe 90 to 100 miles an hour is from the actual club swinging around my body. Then we've actually got what the body does. We're going to add the body in. That's going to give you maybe another 10 miles an hour, maybe up to 110. And that last little bit, that extra 8 miles an hour, is what I call the speed boost. And you need to have this in your golf swing if you really want to maximize your speed. So we touched on speed, but it's actually just going to make the whole swing feel really easy. And when we're looking at driver, the clue on what you need to do is in the name. What did I just do? How do I use the driver? It's a driver swing. Swing is the most important word there because so many golfers that I see who struggle with this club actually just don't let the club swing around their body. So have you ever sort of felt like on the course you're trying to guide the ball down there? Maybe you're a little nervous, apprehensive about missing fairways. And you can see that the club is way above my head. It probably looked quite stiff and tense. That's someone who's trying to guide the club down there. They're not letting that club swing around their body. Or maybe you're trying to be too precise with your golf swing. That can really impact speed and flow. This golf club needs to swing around your body. So how are we going to start this? Well, if I held the grip, look at this. This club wants to swing. It's got a natural momentum. It's got a natural swing. I want you to tap into that. So the first little exercise I want you to do is I want you to hold the golf club with your lead hand. For me, that's my left hand. You're going to stand. I don't even need you to be in golf posture at this point. You're just going to stand. Have the club in front of you. You can see I've got a tee down there. I'm going to use that as my reference. I'm going to keep my chest pointing at that tee. So I'm not going to be turning it away. I'm not going to be turning it forward. I'm going to keep it pointing at that tee. And what I need to do is I need to grip the golf club incredibly lightly. And I just want that club to start swinging around my body. Look how far that club can travel without any movement from my chest at all. Now I know that my lead arm is bending on the way back. I'm not really concerned with that. What I'm trying to get you to do at this stage is let go of control. Let the club swing. So many of you, even on this little exercise, will feel more like this, where there's tension. You're not actually letting go. You're trying to guide the club. That's not the best way to get the most out of the driver. So let that club swing around your body. Now, what you'll also notice is when that club sort of arrives back by that tee, if I sort of stopped, the club face is going to be pointing pretty much at my target. It's going to square up quite naturally. And that's really key because if you watch great golfers, you know, the people that we see on TV, speaking about this quite a lot, you know, if you imagine they're on a par 4 waiting for the players in front, they often sort of stand there, they kind of cross their legs and they just chat to their playing partners and they let the club swing like this. They let it swing around their body. And the club face is always going to be squaring up down at the bottom. What would cause the club not to square up? Well, it would be when you sort of make movements like this and then hold on too much. Or it would be when you make movements like this and get tense and stop the swing and the club face closes. If you let that club swing around your body, then that is absolutely the way we need to go. And this is a great little exercise to get that feeling and get that flow of the golf swing. Now, if that is difficult for you, if you find that's not easy to achieve, there's a little test I'd love you to do at setup. Take your address to a golf ball, or in this case, it's a tee. And I want you to see whether, if you can hold your lead arm in position, can you get the club shaft up to horizontal? So you can see that's level with the ground. And can I take that club shaft and rotate it to the right? If I can do that, then I know that my connection to the golf club is correct, i.e. my grip. If you can't do that, it tells you that your grip is poor. Now, we're not going to dive too much into the grip in this video, but if you're finding, let's say that when you do that little exercise at the start, it feels a little bit more like this, and you go ahead and do that little test and you can't get the club up to horizontal, it's because that club was too much through the palm of my hand. So if you can do this little test, horizontal, round to here, the grip is good, and then you just simply need to go ahead and do this little rehearsal. That is the club swinging around your body. So the next phase to that is adding in some rotation, because as I add in body rotation, that increases the speed. That's how I add my second element in. But it also allows me to get my hands and arms to travel further, because that little exercise at the start, the hands are maybe only traveling to here. As soon as I add rotation, we get up somewhere near the sort of top of my backswing. So the next stage would be start to build this into what would be more of a golf posture. I'm starting position of my feet, shoulder width apart, I've got the ball nice and forward, but I'm still only using one hand at this stage. And this time, I'm going to let the club swing around my body nice and free. And as I begin that movement, I'm just going to start to rotate my body in sync with that movement. So as I go back, I'm going to add some turn. And as I go through, I'm going to add some turn. But I'm still feeling that that club is moving around my body incredibly free. There's no tension. I'm not trying to overly guide the club. I'm not trying to be too precise. I'm just letting the weight of the club swing naturally. Now, if we want to look a little bit more at what the body does, we can take the club away. We can go into our posture, hands across our sort of shoulders, and this is my golf posture. And I want to now make sure that in that rotation, I'm going to be moving my left side down towards the ball, and then I'm going to be moving my right side down towards the ball. This is my rotation. And the reason I want to be feeling left side to the ball, right side of the ball, is because we want to make sure we're not turning too level. Really, really common to see a golfer turning too level. We've got to turn on an angle because that is where the ball is. It's not quite on the ground, it's on a tee, but effectively it's near as damn it on the ground. If we're not rotating on an angle, then we're going to have to manipulate the club with the hands, and that's really difficult. So we can have the club swinging freely around the body, but if the body does the wrong thing, your hands have to get involved. And if you feel like in your downswing your hands are too active, or you feel like you're making movements that you're not intentionally trying to make, it can often be because your body's done the wrong thing going back, and then your hands are trying to compensate. If the body moves well, the club can swing freely around it. So I'm going to take a setup. I'm going to make sure that I've got that nice light grip, because it's key if we're trying to let the club swing. I'm going to swing the club around my body and match that with a turn. Now, I wasn't really focused on doing that as fast as I can. That one there, 84 miles an hour. I'm just going to take a screenshot of that so I can actually show you. 84 miles an hour, so quite slow, but it felt really effortless. And I just wasn't putting the effort in. So we've now got the club swinging around, and we've got the body matching that. What is the final thing? That speed boost. This is really important. Let's do a little demonstration. I've done this before, but really, really great visual. If I just took the golf club, held it in 2 fingers by the grip, so I'm not really holding that with any control, and just let the club swing naturally. You can see where it goes to the other side. It doesn't quite reach horizontal on the other side, just short horizontal. And it doesn't matter how many times I do that, the club will never reach horizontal because it's run out of energy to there. What happens if I let the club drop, but as I let it drop, as it's getting towards the bottom, I'm going to take the grip and I'm going to pull it directly upwards. That's all I'm going to do, still holding it in 2 fingers. So I'm going to let the club drop and pull it straight upwards. Well, suddenly the club's got more speed. Now it goes way above horizontal on the through swing. So how did that club have more speed just because I was taking my 2 fingers and pulling the grip up? Well, that movement puts speed into the club. It puts energy into the club. That's what you need to do in your golf swing. If you're not doing that, there's speed, there's energy, there's power that you're not tapping into. So we can't, in the golf swing, pull that grip directly up, or can we? Well, we can. We can with what you do in your body. Have a look at the great players, the great drivers of the golf. What do you see them doing through impact? Do you see them staying down like this, looking for the ball? Probably not. Do you see them through impact pushing away from the ground? Do you see the left foot almost moving and spinning as they're trying to push and elevate through to the finish? Well, you definitely see that. That's the movement which gives you that speed boost. I can't achieve 120 mile an hour without that push away from the ground. So here's your little exercise. We did the body rotation before. We went left side to tee, right side to tee. This time we're going to go left side to tee, right side to tee, and then we're going to take both legs and we're going to push up into this finish. I want you to be here as tall as you can. I literally could not be taller. My chest is pointing at the sky. And if I do that with a fair bit of force, have a look at my left foot. So as I do that with force, watch what my left foot does. Notice how it's actually moving and rotating. That's because as I push away from the ground, there's actually no force going through that foot. The force is through that foot early, and then I'm pushing up and away. Now watch what happens when I push away. Where does my left shoulder go? Up. Where does my left hand go? Up. Where would the grip go? Up. And what we've already established is that when the grip goes up, you get more speed in the club head. Now all of this can be made really easy or easier by making sure that the club head is continually moving at setup and in that sort of setup position. We don't want to get too still, too static over the ball, because when we're static, things tense up, we focus too much on the club head and we get that really kind of guided tense swing that we spoke about right at the start. So keep the club head moving, keep the grip pressure nice and light, always feel and sense the weight of the club, and then go ahead and pull all that together.